Women are the creators. We create. It's our minds. It's our infinite minds. Women are beauty and love and light and nurturing. We really just are not of this world. We have a connection to the divine. And that's something I don't think men understand. Somehow managed to make herself an RN, run multiple Airbnbs, now have an online coaching business, and just doing many other entrepreneurial things.
Six and a half hours later.
You know, it'd be nice if I had a husband to take care of me, but I don't. I don't care if he builds us a cabin in the woods. And that's how we live. I'm not saying I need 5-star fancy dinners every night. Go build us a house. I don't give a... I just would like somebody to take care of me so I can quit hustling and working my off. Trying to use this woman brain to figure out how to live. It's exhausting. Love you.
What a tangled web we weave.
Apparently, using my child support on myself is wrong. So what am I supposed to use my child support on?
I mean, it says it in the title. I would think you would know what you're supposed to use it for.
As long as my 7 kids are taken care of.
That's a lot of kids. And you look like you're 12.
That I go do my nails, that I go do my hair, that I go to the spa, that I go on vacations.
Does your exes, because I don't think it's just one, does your exes know you do this? How I just have a feeling that you don't have a job.
I get $3,200 between my 7 children.
It's only like $457 and some change per child per month. Maybe I need a new job. I mean, I'm not too old. Maybe I should have more kids. But then I would have to get divorced. I don't want to do that because I don't want to have to go through all that. That's just pain in the butt. You do you, boo.
I love when I tell a man, well, good thing you don't get paid for thinking.
We may not get paid for thinking, but you're talking a big game over there for someone who left the house with the entirety of an Ulta store inventory on her face. Let's dial it back or drop a selfie, no makeup. Ball's in your court.
What is it called when you only like guys who you feel like don't like you back? And I don't mean in the way of like you can only like guys who are like unattainable. I mean like if I feel like you really want me, I don't want you. But if I feel like if you're kind of ignoring me, if you're kind of not talking to me, if you're taking a long time to reply to me, suddenly I'm desperate for you and you're like I have to have you more than anyone else in the world. But as soon as you reply, I'm over it. As soon as you like start showing interest in me again, I'm bored. What is that called?
I made a video about this earlier and I was like, maybe I shouldn't share, but I should share because people were interested. My date was not good. It wasn't bad. It was, and I've had a lot of conversations with people in my store today about said date, and people have different interpretations of what went down. I just think him and I are just not it, and I think he also figured that out because I haven't heard from him since last night. So I think we're on the same page. So I will just tell you the icks that came from my point of view to him. He ordered a virgin pina colada. There's a couple icks with this drink choice. One, it's expensive for just to be virgin. Just stick with water. Whatever. Two, gross to go with Thai food, in my opinion. I don't understand that, but to each their own. I hate coconut, so maybe it goes well together. 3, it's cold outside. It's a freezing cold drink. My brain process just thinks this guy might be a serial killer because who does that, right? I don't know. I was just sitting there and like, and maybe I didn't want to be there. I'm really trying to figure this out. We didn't really have a lot in common. We talked. I can talk to a brick wall. So the conversation was flowing. But there was no butterflies. There was nothing. I could tell he was nervous. I get it. I'm a lot to handle. I even said that. I'm very blunt, straight to the point. Just, that's my personality. And I've gotten to the point where you either like me or you don't. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not trying to impress everybody. I am who I am. There's no changing it whatsoever. I'm a great person. for the right person, but I'm not going to be a great person for every single person. And that's come with age and wisdom and all the things. And I'm not trying to put myself in a box that will fit whoever I want to date. That hasn't worked in the past. It just won't. 2 or 3, I don't know what number I'm on. He's very sweet and very reserved. If we were to date, I would walk all over this man. And you should never be in a relationship where there is no give and take. That's not a great relationship, in my opinion. I think he is a sweet guy. He is just not the guy for me. And, you know, maybe it will happen one day. I will find the person for me. But last night was not it. I am not going to say no to blind dates. I'm going to keep saying yes. But, yeah, that was an interesting one. That is all. Bye, y'all.
In all honesty, this is ridiculous. I mean, at this point, just say that you don't want to be in a relationship and leave it at that. Y'all just making stuff up.
Listen, whatever man is making my life easier, that's who I'm sticking with. Okay? That's who I'm sticking with. All that chirping, it's for the birds, baby. That's for the birds. When a man want to do for you, when he want to step, he just gonna do it. It ain't no in between. That's just what it is. He gonna do it.
And while we're at it, the rate at which these men fumble me, I swear I'm in a Butterfinger commercial. Like, I am not that hard to keep. What the f are y'all doing?
Crazy thing is, and y'all have to think about this, Cinderella removed one shoe and found love. You're walking around here with half your ass and you're still single. Still single. No one to love. Put some clothes on.
Can we talk about the fact that women have completely weaponized therapy? They have completely weaponized it to excuse their self-indulgent behavior. And listen, yes, I know, therapy can be a very good thing, but there is a trend now of people using absolute psychobabble phrases just to excuse selfish behavior. And it's this repeating death spiral cycle of women just egging each other on, the therapist validating terrible decision-making, the girl then feeling miserable, so she has to keep going to therapy with the therapist who will continue to push her to make these bad decisions. So for the most part, no, you're not setting boundaries. You're just
What I noticed lately is that a lot of men rather stay single because they're tired of giving their everything and ending up with nothing. Do you guys agree with that?
Look, I don't know need to hear this, but I'm dating for love, not for money. So if you want to go 50-50 with me, that's cool, okay? Because I was doing 100 by myself. I'm talking about I'm out here. So if you want to do a little 50-50, stop listening to them. They want you to do 100, forget them, okay? I'm here to do 50-50 with you, okay? We can split it all down the middle. I'm talking about everything. Everything. Just let me know. Like, for real, let me know. Because, you feel me? Let me know.
You guys, I hate to break it to you, but I've got to be the one to say it. The guy with the aesthetic Instagram is never going to provide for you.
Hey girl, I hate to break it to you, but I've got to be the one to say it. The guy with the aesthetic Instagram is never going to provide for you because he'd simply rather die. Like, I'm trying to find a woman with elegant social media presence that doesn't know what being a hoe on Instagram is.
I'm not a psychic, but 88.7% of women today in committed relationships with good men woke their man up today, nagging and arguing about some dumb shit. And a word of advice, which y'all should have did instead, was just crawled your ass back in bed and woke your man up to some. What is y'all arguing about for that you said you was over and done with? My thing about that is, if you're not over and done with it, you would have left him. But what you did was lay up next to him. I'm not about to be laying in the bed with somebody I'm still mad at. I'm leaving. Since you're here, can I get some help? Like, what the f is we? It's a new day. Let it go, Elsa. Y'all just want to do this all day. You're annoying. I'm speaking for these because they scared to say this shit to y'all because they love y'all. I don't love y'all, but hate y'all. So I'm going to let y'all know you're annoying, bitch. Sometimes you just need to know when to shut the fuck up. Everything is never going to be your way at all times. It's not your world.
You're telling me you're in a fight with your man and you say, babe, I just don't even want to talk anymore. Give me some space. And he actually gives you space.
Well, this sounds great. Sounds like your man is confident. It sounds like he's secure within himself. And it sounds like he's aware of your needs and desires and empathetic to them. Therefore, this is going to increase the trust and the intimacy in the relationship, right?
Like, obviously, I want to talk.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, obviously, I want you to, like, be like, no, like, we're talking.
Ah, got it. This is called shadow communication. Now, there's a lot of reasons that somebody might engage in shadow communication, and a lot of the times it's to protect themselves. But if this form of communication where somebody's using a lot of mixed signals is actually being used to control or confuse their partner, I might even categorize this as manipulation.
Do you, like, was I not clear?
Oh yeah, it's clear as mud, actually. Now, look, when you're ready to stop acting like a child and using this very immature form of communication to likely control and manipulate your partner, and stop asking the world where all the good men are at, then, and maybe only then, you can start to learn how to communicate your needs, desires, and boundaries in a way that's actually going to allow you to step into an adult relationship. But until then, my name is Denon Maximchuk, a holistic health and relationship coach. Follow for more.
When a man says girl, but he actually means woman, I like to correct him. So, for example,
girl boss, girls night, girl math, girls girl, the girlies. Girls just want to have fun. I'm just a girl. You correct all those too, right? Right?
Start a fight in one sentence or what?
Women spend most of their lives completely exhausted because they're trying to live a masculine life in a feminine body.
Well, the demon growl at the end was a real nice touch. Can someone please explain to me how we went from fighting for votes for women to that? The actual hell is wrong with these people?
Marriage itself has its challenges, but you got to have God first. You got to stay on your knees praying. I'm married to a sex symbol. You know, growing up, when we first got together, I mean, you know, I've had my times where I would be going off and, you know, mad at this one because they looked at him this way. And, you know, but that was years ago. Todd and I got married in 95. His cousin, Marion, gave me this book called The Power of a Praying Wife. We have a tendency of praying and being like, Lord, change him. Lord, make him this way. Lord, make him that way. But the first thing that I read in that book was that you have to change yourself. You can't change nobody. You can have standards and you can have boundaries and all of that, but you can't change anybody. Mm-hmm. You can change yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. I changed myself.
What did you need to change about yourself?
Being flipped with the mouth all the time, going off about this, going, you know, just like...
being in around the way, girl.
Yeah, being in around the way, girl. Right, exactly. And as you get older, you mature. I got to a point where women will come up to me and they'll be like, oh my God, your husband is so fine. And I'll be like, girl, I know. You think I could get a picture with him? Sure, go ahead, go on and ask him for a picture. Just don't be disrespectful. The disrespect, I can't deal with.
Right.
The disrespect, I'm at 54.
At
at
point.
54, I'm ready to take off the hoop. I didn't feel the need to have to be every place with Todd. I didn't feel like I needed to travel with him everywhere to keep my eye on him and all of that stuff because I was very confident in our relationship and in our marriage. And at the end of the day, if somebody gonna fool around, they gonna fool around, right? What I did as a woman was that I made my house a home. Because home is where the heart is at. The closer you get to God, the more you understand who God is in your life, is the more you're going to understand who you are and what your purpose is.
Well, there's still an unanswered question from women today. Why do women, instead of wearing more clothes, they wear less clothes when they say they're scared of what men may do to them? I mean, seriously, I need answers. I still haven't got one yet. If you're afraid of inappropriate things with another male, which you know less clothes attract these type of men, and you still go and wear less clothes,
why wear it?
Is you really afraid? I don't know what's going on. I still haven't got an answer yet.
Are you afraid?
I get a deflection like, well, men should keep their hands to themselves. Well, we know that. I think men also shouldn't rob me when I have money here sticking out my pocket. But we live in a world, right? So please explain that to me, y'all. Why do they wear even less clothes when they're so afraid?
Why did the lion bite me when I literally had my hand in its mouth?
This may hurt a lot of the guys, but y'all need to hear it. The only reason I see a woman getting insecure about you is if she knows that she's the one who's going to end up betraying you, hurting you, or leaving you. Maybe this is just my opinion, but me personally, if I'm in a committed relationship with a guy, I'm confident. The only reason I would be insecure is if I'm projecting myself onto him. The only reason I would be insecure is because I think that I have options. I think that I could find better. So I'm insecure about him because he's treating me a way that other guys would not. The only reason why women get insecure about you is because they're projecting themselves onto you. I'm scared you'll leave me. That's because she's going to leave you. I'm scared you'll hurt me. That's because she's going to hurt you. Don't say I didn't warn you. If you would like personal advice, it'll be in my bio. Peace.
I'm sorry, the standard for men just got raised.
The standard has been raised. I thought the bar was never lower.
I went on a date last night. He's gonna see this, and that's what makes it all the more funny. I'm going on a girls trip in like 2 weeks for my birthday.
Oh yeah, birthday trips are fun. Yeah, can't knock that.
And he was like, "Oh, what do you want for your birthday?"
That is great date night banter.
And I was like, "Oh, nothing. I'm going on a girls trip." And he was like, "Give me your phone." Takes my phone, opens my Venmo.
Wait, what?
Scans my Venmo thing and Venmos me $300.
$300
with the caption, "So men don't buy you drinks in Miami."
So $300 plus all the drinks men are going to buy you in Miami. Gotcha.
That is literally insane, but why do I love it?
You just got $300. If somebody gave me $300, I would 100% love it. Boys, we are cooked if that is the standard.
A lot of women, they come on my show, they describe the same guy. They want him to have money, have swag, be attractive, and all of that. Now, I might have 10 of those guys, then I have 3,000 women. So just from that type of guy, there's just not enough to go with every person. Also, the things everybody's saying they want our grandma's love, like she just said, y'all don't know what grandma went through to keep that love. I would be happy by myself, taking care of myself before I tolerate your BS. So I say all that to say, if you really want to be a wife, character is all that matters. Not money, not height. Is this man going to be there for you on your dying bed? If you couldn't walk tomorrow, would he wipe your behind? Those are the only components, and that's how women will run the game again. Because we put out there, you got to be attractive, because you got to have money. Those men are acting up, and they acting like a damn fool because they know they got so many women that want them. Just date. Like, you know, people are like, Kendra, I need a man, and the Uber driver dropped him off. Well, was the Uber driver nice? Just go for coffee, girlfriend. It's just coffee. Like, you never know, because that Uber driver might be an Uber driver, but maybe saving to make his own fleet, and maybe you're the sauce that can help him market it. A lot of marriages really are partnerships. Like, we just think the man's the head of the house, but maybe it was the woman's idea, he executed. And a lot of women who are powerhouse, I know she said you don't might want to build a man, and I get that, but you might also have no man to build. Either you can have a no man or invisible man or yourself. Like, you got to pick out of it. It's just the real talk.
What a tangled web we weave.
Why does the Bible say that each man must love his wife and the wife must respect her husband? Why is it love and respect and not love and love? Why do we have to give different things in the relationship? I'll tell you why, and it's so simple. It is because a man cannot be with a woman he doesn't love, just like a woman cannot be with a man she doesn't respect. Ladies, if you're in a healthy relationship, when was the last time you paused and you told your man, baby, I respect you? And not only did you tell him, but you changed your life and you started to act accordingly. And you let him mentor you, and you let him guide you, and you let him correct you. You let him be your head. We're so scared of being submissive. But my loves, being submissive doesn't mean that you're his slave. Being submissive means that you crave to be under his wings because you know that's the safest place to be. I encourage you to try this. God bless you.
Some of y'all's loved ones are not going to tell you, so I'm going to tell you, it is your character. It wasn't just a mistake. You do this every other month. Every time somebody gives you an opportunity to grow, you fail. It's your character. This is who you are. You're not a great person. The people in your life love you and they continue to put up with it because they're not ready to let you go. But it's your character. You're the problem. If you don't get it together, you're going to continue to hurt everybody around you. You're not a great person. Suck it up, deal with it, cry your tears, move on, change or don't. I don't give a damn. But just so you know, you're the problem.
We need women like you to say that because a lot of these modern women and their friends will never disclose this information to each other.
Easiest way to f*** your life? Have a kid with the wrong woman. Worse, have a kid with a one-night stand. Somebody you don't even know. To be fair to the women in the room, this massively is amplified for you because the carrying cost is usually greater for women than it is for men. So it applies both ways, which is why, by the way, in both nature and in humans, who generally is the more selective? Women, because they fully understand there is an inherent cost to them if the wrong person gets them pregnant. So in the interest of full disclosure, women have it way harder than men do there. But as a man, you want to f*** your life, have a kid with the wrong person. As a woman, you want to f*** your life, have a kid with the wrong person. Now, kids are always a blessing. If they come in here, they're dropping in for a purpose. So even if the circumstances are usually look back and think, well, maybe I don't like how this happened, but I absolutely love my children or my child. But just learn that, which means, and the reason I started with men is because who gets to make that decision on the front end? Men.
In general, good men are steady and consistent and predictable. It's why as women, we think you're boring. As women in general, we like chaos and drama and disruption of routine. That's what makes us feel alive and engaged in life because we want to do what we want to do. Structure holds us accountable and we don't want accountability. So we want to do what we want to do when we want to do it and thrive on that instability because again, it makes us feel engaged and alive. Ergo, why we are attracted to bad boys. Because they're chaotic and we think that's exciting and it adds drama and passion to our lives.
These modern women today, they really do thrive on creating a problem where there is none.
Sometimes, ladies, you are the problem.
Imagine that.
That's crazy. Like, you ain't been wrong in 3,000 arguments. Like, you don't find that suspicious? You haven't been wrong in 3,000 arguments? Come on, woman. At some point, you have to be the problem.
Do you want to know why men think we're crazy?
This seems like a truth.
Okay, it's Saturday night. It's raining. I'm laying on the couch under a blanket. I'm in my jammies. I tell my husband, I want something cozy for dinner. He's like, what does that mean? So he starts naming off places. He's like, do you want to go to Outback? I'm like, no. He's like, do you want pizza? I'm like, no. He's like, do you want teriyaki? I'm like, gross. No, that doesn't sound good. I really want pho. He doesn't want pho. So we have to compromise on something. And because I'm already in my jammies, I don't want to go sit in a restaurant, but also I don't want him to leave the house to go pick up the food because I'm needy and I want him to stay home, but I don't want to pay for DoorDash because DoorDash is expensive. So I just want the food to come to me, but like for free. But also I don't want to deal with like the garbage and the mess from takeout. But I don't want to sit in a restaurant and I don't want to cook and I don't know what I want to eat. Does that make sense? Because it makes perfect sense in my head.
So you're telling me that if I leave my career to lay in the kitchen and serve my husband and my kids, something is wrong with me? So you're telling me that if I dedicate the rest of my life to feeding my children and my husband organic food, I'm being oppressed? So you're telling me that if I depend on a man, he's going to leave me for someone younger when I get older? I don't know when it became normal to wish harm amongst women. Having a man that you can depend and trust, taking care of your family, feeding your children the healthiest food, and yes, sometimes spending hours in the kitchen making sure that your meal is perfect doesn't sound like a bad deal to me. When I was in my 20s, I used to think that that would have been the worst thing that I could do. But I quickly realized that I was losing in life and I truly wasn't winning. I experienced the burnout and the loneliness of being a healthy woman, not having a partner next to me. So here we are today, and stop wishing harm amongst women who choose to either build a career or build a home.
I posted a video about guys not knowing what they want in their 30s, and let me tell you, the comments have me like shook. The amount of men saying that they don't want to get married because they don't want to have to take care of a woman is like absolutely mind-blowing to me. Like, love is dead. It's dead.
For anyone that has listened to men in the last decade, this should not be surprising. Because let's face it, ladies, men are no longer to expect anything from a woman in marriage. Because when they talk about expectations, especially on social media, they get put through the ringer. And that has leaked into the real world. Like, men have a lot to lose when it comes to relationships, especially marriage. They are expected to give without requiring or wanting or asking for anything in return. A lot of men that have experienced that feeling in a real life relationship that he's been through, he has decided to remain single rather than put himself through that again. And honestly, what he sees on social media just reinforces that. It's really only until he finds a good woman in real life, he finds that unicorn, that will ever be broken down. And that does happen occasionally. But for the rest of the guys, they would rather be single.
Unpopular opinion. Expecting that man to lead when you don't listen is crazy work. And most women, not all, are actually not good listeners, but they require their partner to have good communication skills. But in order for a good communication to happen between two people, empathetic listening must take place. Empathetic listening is whenever you focus on the perspective and validation of the other person who's speaking to you. Most women are defensive listeners, which means that they're focusing on the trigger words that's going to come from it, right? The perception of the comment that you're saying, they go into defense mode about. So immediately, instead of focusing on a solution, we're going to focus on what you said to me and how you said it and why you said it to me, knowing who I am to you. So in order to have a good communication style between you and your person, you have to learn to listen. And if you're not the best listener, that's okay. You can learn to listen. It's actually a skill that can be acquired over time. And it's not a bad skill to have. Some of us actually have to learn to listen.
I was having a conversation with my husband and I was like, why is it that statistics show that women have a hard time raising up boys to be men, but men statistically can raise girls up to be women? And he said, because men have both chromosomes, X and Y. And so I looked it up, and women only have XX chromosomes, but they have X or Y, determining the sex of the baby. When there's a fertilized egg, we can only contribute an X, but men could contribute an X or Y, which validates the Bible because it says God over man, man over woman, woman over children. So the reason why I think women struggle to raise up boys to be men, and men don't struggle as much to raise up girls to be women, is because when God took the rib out of Adam and made a woman, yes, he made a helpmate for man, but he also made an extension of man. And this is why it says for husbands to wash your wives with the word and present her to yourself, and to see her as your own body, because she is essentially an extension of you.
But modern women today don't want to be an extension. They want to be the actual body. You are an extension of them. They want to be the leader. And when they figure out a man's not going for that, all of a sudden they're upset.
You will fumble a good man trying to compete with him instead of cheering him on and supporting him. It shows you're insecure, as if you're afraid of him outgrowing you, when you need to be focused on growing with him and learning from him.
If she loves you, why does she act like she don't? Why she communicate with other dudes? Understand what I'm saying? Why she flirt with other dudes? Why when she go out she act like she's single? Alright? Why does she take from you but never give? Why is it always about her and not you all? Understand what I'm saying? Get it together, baby. You heard it here first. Yeah.
You know what drives me insane? When guys say, oh, women objectify men all the time and nobody bats an eye, but when we do it, we're creeps. And honestly, to that, my professional, thought out, thoroughly researched response is because here's the difference. When I see a gorgeous man, I am appreciating the art. I see a tall, handsome man walk by, and I'm just like, wow, look at you. You know, nature really popped off today. Like, well done, genetics. Wow, 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 wow. That's beautiful. You know, I'm appreciating beauty. It's kind of like looking at art in a museum or watching a sunset. You look at it, admire it, appreciate, maybe clap a little, take a mental picture, and then move along with your day. But when men objectify women, it is never that simple. They're not mentally snapping a quick, respectable photo. They're directing a whole X-rated film in their head with me and them in positions that would probably even deem too adventurous, okay?
Thank you for your professional, well thought out opinion. Now, if you could just tell that to the countless men in my comment section that have come forward, were nice enough to come forward and share their essay experiences with me and the world, let's start there. Now, here's my unprofessional common sense opinion. Look up the definition of double standard.
I mean, we can also even say all of the women who, not even looking at celebrities, all of the women who you see on TikTok in the men's comments saying what they want to do to a man, if they didn't have a husband, what they would be doing. But of course, it's harmless.
Y'all not romantic. Y'all want romance, but y'all not romantic in general.
True.
What happens when you do get the man you want? You're not even prepared to take care of him. Because every woman want a good man until it's time to be a good woman. Y'all want a king, but y'all not king size. Ooh. Every woman ain't fit for a king. Ooh. You're not even king size. You don't even know how to make him feel 10 feet tall. Yeah. And then when that man's love cup is on E and he begins to act funny, they project.
Yeah.
Girls have the sassy list. This is the masculine list part 2. So if you do this, ladies, you're masculine. Girls that have a shoe size 10 or higher, masculine. Driving a manual car, masculine. What are you, Paul Walker? Talking loud in public, masculine. If you have chest tattoos, masculine. Drinking liquor straight out the bottle. What are you, Captain Jack Sparrow? Masculine. If you have hair above your lip, masculine. Why do you have a mustache? If you hawk loogies, masculine, you're a dragon. If you sell drugs, masculine. If you shoot or work a security job, you're aggressive, masculine. If you build things, Bob the Builder, masculine. If you open drinks or food with your teeth, masculine. You're a grizzly bear. Settle down.
My man went off. That man fed up with that foolishness.
Do women have to stop being bosses when they marry a boss?
Ooh, to an extent, yes.
Elaborate. Because why they got to stop being the boss babe? Why? Because a man came into my life? I can't be both?
No, you can't. Ultimately, you can be a boss in the world in the sense where you have a business and you're getting your groove on and you're inspiring and you're empowering, but none of that can come before the family. And especially none of that can come before your man. If you want a high value, high earning masculine man, he's kind of at the center of your world. So to an extent, yes, but that doesn't mean you have to stop doing what you're doing. You just can't sacrifice your partnership for what you're building in the world. If that's the case, you probably don't want a masculine man anyway.
So your girl officially has a stalker, which it's like, finally, okay? I've been waiting for this. I'll spare you all the details, but essentially how it started was he showed up to one of my shows alone. He asked me for a picture. My friends got really weird vibes. I got really weird vibes. He was waiting for a long time. And then when I realized it was a problem was when he showed up to another show alone, again, with that picture printed out on poster paper and asked me to sign it, which I did because I'm a narcissist first, victim second, okay? Upon doing more research into this man, I have found out that he's married. Okay, not only that, he's also done this to other female comedians, and he has pictures with like Victoria's Secret models and other celebrities. So even my stalker is poly. Like even my stalker doesn't believe in monogamy. Imagine how embarrassed I was. Your situationship played you, that sucks. My stalker is seeing other people. That one hurt. He's also 6'2", but who's counting?
Okay, this video is for the guys. I have a question. And I don't have a lot of male followers, so hopefully this lands on the guys For You page. Serious question. Okay, you meet a girl out in public. She's everything that you want. She looks wise, everything that you want. Whatever it is that you want, she's everything. She meets every criteria, checking all the boxes. Y'all are talking. You find out she's best friends with her ex. But before you go, her ex is a girl. So she's bisexual. You're like, oh, okay. She's best friends with her ex, but her ex is a girl. Problem? If you said it's not a problem. If you're like, no, that's cool. She's friends with her ex is a girl. That's fine. I have a follow-up. The best friend ex is masculine presenting. So it's not like a femme like her. Like she's all cute and looks straight. The best friend ex is masculine presenting. Problem? Is that still okay? Let me know.
And another recession indicator, y'all really gotta walk with me on this but men not being overly thirsty is a recession indicator now. Hear me out. Okay, so do y'all remember this like a couple years ago ending literally in my opinion, like last year? Every time a woman will post a photo dump, it will always include a screenshot of a man saying the thirstiest thing imaginable or imply that she's somewhere getting spoiled. Well, the girls is not posting those no more because the men is not sending them no more. And to me, that's a recession indicator because I just feel like men is not really spending it like that because they gotta save it. So they're not even going to start the track record of like, oh, this is going to lead to me spending it. They're not even going to DM no more. I'm telling you, that's a recession indicator. Now, are y'all walking with me or am I reaching out? Some of the girls, y'all still get the messages. Recession don't matter. It could be a Great Depression. Y'all still won't get the messages. But y'all can't lie and tell me that it hasn't slowed down. Don't lie.
Woman in the comments. A woman in the comments said, yes, that clubs. Yes, that in the S clubs getting drier and drier. Oh man, another woman said, fake S daddies been too quiet. Oh man, I love it. I love it. A dude came in there and said, bro, y'all do anything. Y'all do anything but reflect internally. That's a fact.
Y'all, I am crying right now because I already had a rough day. And then my sneaky link, the guy was supposed to link today. He was supposed to give me some. And I was supposed to give him some. And he canceled on me, bro. Like, I thought I was gonna get some. And today was already a bad day. And I thought I was supposed to get some. He's talking about, oh, it's too much snow outside for me to drive to you. And I've been working all day. You gotta be. What type of man turned down? You gotta be, bro. He really gonna go and turn me down? The best he would have ever had. It's okay, because guess what? He'll never hear from me again. I bet you that. He won't hear from me again.
So one of my guy friends went on a date with this girl, and he basically thought the date went super well. And so he's walking her to her car at the end of the date, and she point blank, once they get to her car, she says, hey, I thought you were super cool. I just don't feel a romantic connection. I would love to be friends if that is something you are comfortable with. And so he, of course, says like, yeah, sure, I'm definitely comfortable. Let's definitely be friends. Okay. So a couple weeks go by, they don't talk because he doesn't reach out and neither does she. And the White Lotus finale happens. And I guess that was something they really talked about or really bonded over on their date, like just TV. And so she texts him, I guess, something to the effect of like the ending of White Lotus, exclamation point, exclamation point. And so they have a conversation about White Lotus. And so they bond over that or talk about that. And so then he interprets that to be her saying like, I'm open to another date. No idea how we got here, but I just letting him finish this progression for me. And so then he texts her and says, hey, I have this extra ticket for this event this weekend. Would you like to be my date? Okay. It was basically a basketball game. And so she's like, oh, like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm actually really busy this weekend. But the following weekend, my friend is having a bunch of people over. You are so welcome to come and like hang out with the group. Blah, blah, blah. And he said he was like so caught off guard because he was like inviting me to a group setting and like, you know, not being interested in going on a date with me. And I'm like, you guys are friends. And he was like, yeah, I didn't think she was like serious about that. And I was like, are some of you just not ready for like honesty? Like, this girl has done everything correct. She basically has now reestablished her boundary. She's not interested in going on a date with you. But she's offered you a friendship opportunity in a group setting, which is honestly a lot more than most people would do to try to give you the benefit of the doubt. And so, I mean, he's my friend, but we had to lay down the law a little bit about how he was not respecting her boundaries. But the reality is like, all of these people are like, I just want people to be honest with me. And then when they are, you guys aren't ready for it. I don't know what to tell you.
So I like how we try to make the man a weirdo in this situation when women would do this exact same thing, right? So, oh, well, she was point blank and saying X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, sometimes when you say, hey, I just want to be friends, if you're open to that, yeah, sure, cool, right? But then you go a few weeks or however long, and that person might have thought more about it. And so they open up the conversations like, hey, man, what's going on with that White Lotus? Oh, yeah, that was great. Hey, I've got some tickets to a basketball game. Now, in her situation, maybe she could have said, oh, no, I'm not interested. I appreciate it, though, and left it at that. But y'all are giving her a pass on, hey, I don't want to go to this game, but you can come to me and my friends. If she wanted to establish that boundary and keep that boundary there, she would have left him where he was and not invited him into such an intimate setting with friends that he probably hasn't even seen. I understand, I get it from her perspective, but we can't continue going out there and talking about how much of a weirdo the man is when he was like, it didn't seem like she was serious about that. Because sometimes women are not serious about actually being friends. They want you for something certain. Number one. Number two, women say, well, I'm married, and then be lying. Oh, we can just be friends. And then get on here on the internet like you're doing, supposedly with your friend, talking about how terrible of a friend he is, how weird and how much of a scumbag, in so many words, he is. So no, you're not his friend, actually. You're talking to... Did he even give you permission to say this stuff online? This is what we need to talk about. Friends wouldn't do other friends like this. But here you are doing that. So when a woman says, oh, we'll just be friends, it might just be something that she says to get him out of, or whatever it is. But then when she reaches out, maybe he's like, oh, I guess she thought about it. But y'all don't think about anybody else but what y'all's perspective is. Y'all didn't even stop and say, man, you know what? Maybe he thought this. Y'all always try to demonize the man, and men get tired of that.
Only someone who cheats would think this way. Normalize being a people's person, not a girl's girl, okay? If women are no good and some of them aren't, same way some men aren't, I'm not going to protect them. They don't warrant being protected.
My favorite line that a guy has ever said to me is, you're the best. I love when guys are like, you're the best. Ugh, you're just the best. And I'm like, I'm in love with you. Did you know that? I would gargle your sack for a nickel. I just think it's so cute because guys already have a hard time with their feelings, and then just being like, you're the best is such like a toddler compliment, but it means so much to them. The other day, this guy was like, you're the best. And I was like, I'm pregnant. We haven't hooked up. That's fine, but you said I'm the best. So that means that you are going to be taking them to daycare in the morning. So that's what I heard. When someone's like, you're just the best, I'm like, great. I need to pump now. Now I need to go pump because the kids are coming, because I'm the best and you're my husband.
Case in point, when you think about what was said in that last video, case in point. Come on, guys. This is too easy.
Okay, I'm back with another very fun dating story, okay? I'll preface it by saying this guy's cool, this guy is nice, but these are red flags on a date. Don't do this stuff, okay? Don't do it, and I can't make this up. So I downloaded Bumble. It's been a long time since I've been on the dating apps, honestly. Long time as in 6 months, which is a long time for me. So downloaded Bumble, which I haven't used in a while, and I liked that I matched with this guy, and immediately he was like, hey, let me get your number, let's get off the app. I was like, yeah, great, because he's actually intending to take me on a date, which I love. So we talked a little bit Friday, and then Saturday we talked a little bit. The banter was good, and he was like, honestly, do you want to just be spontaneous and meet up tonight for a drink? And I'm like, yeah, I'll be at my cousin's for dinner in West Loop, so why don't we meet up after? I'll meet you at 9. So we choose this bar. I get to the bar, and this is the first thing. Honestly, I like a petite prince. I like a short king, okay? My last boyfriend was one. But it's like, do not lie about it. Don't say you're 5'10", and then when I show up, you're just my height, because I noticed that, and it makes me angry. Don't lie. So let's just say he was not 5'10". So the booth opens up, we go over, we sit in this big booth, and I wanna say something. He did text me prior, and he prefaced it by saying, hey, I'm not really drinking right now, so I'll probably get an NA beer, just wanna give you a heads up, I'm doing a cleanse. And I was like, that's totally fine. I don't really drink a lot anyway, so maybe I'll join you, get an NA beer. So the fact that he prefaced that is funny, because what you're about to hear. So we get to this booth, we start chatting, it's all good. The server comes over, takes the last people's drinks from the table. I see the scanning code for the menu. So I start scanning it and we start chatting. I think like 20 minutes pass and I'm kind of like, it's a little funny. Like he hasn't been like, hey, do you want me to go up and get you a drink? Or like, do you want anything? And so I was kind of like, hey, are you going to get that any beer? And he goes, no, let's just sit here as long as possible before they like kick us out. And I was kind of like, what? Okay. Like this is a little strange to me, but I was kind of like, okay, this guy's definitely just trying to have a free date. And I'm like, if you wanted a free date, we should have just gone on a walk. So I'm fine with doing that, or like a coffee, like I can get my own coffee, but don't suggest a bar. And then it was just weird. So we're chatting. This group of girls in a bachelorette party come up to us. We had a big booth. So we're like, oh, if you want to sit with us, great. And this girl, she starts talking to us. She's like, you two are super cute. Is this a first date? And I was kind of like, yeah. I was like, no, this guy is just a friend. Like, and I was joking. And he thought it was funny because we had good banter. But I was also like, nah, he's just going to be a friend after this. So she's like, well, let me buy you a drink. Like, you shouldn't be sitting here without drinks. And I was kind of like, that's what I thought. And he's like, oh, I'm not drinking, but maybe she'll want one. And I'm kind of like, are you for real right now? You're telling this girl to buy me a drink, but you haven't in the last hour? So I was just kind of like, no, you're totally fine. I think we're leaving soon anyways. Like, take the hint, sir. She's like, no, please, let me get you a drink. So she gets me a glass of wine. Shout out to that beautiful woman. I think her name was Liz or something, because I'm just like, thank you, Liz, for getting me a drink. Shout out to the ladies. She must have known. It was like, hey, girl, I got you. And so I finished the drink, and I'm like, all right, like, we should probably go. And he's like, oh, let me give you a ride. And I know a lot of you will be like, why did you take a ride from him? Because the least he could do is give me a ride home, you know? So I don't have to pay for an Uber, because it's like, you invited me out here. Yes, you can give me a ride home. So we get outside, get in the car. And at this point, I'm kind of not into it anymore. I'm just like, all right. My energy was just like, I don't know. And so he drops me off. He goes in for the kiss in the car, which is always kind of awkward, but I totally swerved it. Poor guy. He was like, oh, this is really awkward. He's like, you definitely just denied me. And I was like, yeah, I was like, sorry. I'm trying not to do that on the first date anymore. I like need something to look forward to, you know? And he was like, okay. And it got kind of awkward. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, have a great night. Didn't hear from him the next day until like 6 p.m. He texted me and he goes, hey, did we go out last night? He's like, honestly, I don't know what's real or not. My dreams were wild. And he goes, didn't have any charges on my credit card. And I'm like, this man, the fact that he said that, like, such a red flag. I was just like, sir. And I immediately responded, LOL, yeah, that's because they're on Liz's credit card. Shout out to her. Like, and he was like, I promise I won't loiter this next day. I'll promise I can buy things. Like, when are you free? I was just like, I'm not really free this week, but like, maybe we'll touch base next time. But I was just like, nope. So yeah, these are red flags on the date. He was a cool guy, but it's like, you ruined it. Nope. So yeah, back with the fun dating stories, guys. Hopefully not too many more, but I'm here for you.
Well, maybe on another perspective, you were so forgettable. You know what? I ain't gonna say that. Wow.
Be careful about dating divorced men. No woman is divorcing a good man, especially when they have kids together. Yes, a lot of people grow apart and it's mutual, but the majority of the time she has divorced him for a reason. And whatever he has done to her, he's going to do to you.
A woman in the comments said, don't agree. My ex-husband is a good man and deserves a good woman.
So my brother took a woman out on a date Saturday, but he told me that will be the last time he'll ever speak to that woman again. And I was confused because I was the one that set them up in the first place. So I asked him what went wrong because she was his type. She was beautiful, she was tall, and she had long hair. That's when he told me that everything was good until they went back to his house and made love. That's when I started joking. I said, oh, you're one of those. You don't like when a woman gives it up on the first night. He was like, nah, that's not it either. The love making was good. That's when I said, well, okay, what happened? He said after they made love, they laid in bed cuddling for like an hour. But the entire time they were cuddling, she was rubbing on his... Of course, he loved it because it felt good, but he also got curious as to why she was doing it. So he asked her why did she like rubbing on his... And at first it took her a minute to give him an answer. But then she looked at my brother and said, because I really miss mines.
You gotta be careful out there, fellas. You gotta be careful out there. Virus in the comments said it would have been my last time as a free man too.
I went out a few weeks ago and it was a crowded bar. there were two women sitting on the edge of the bar and a man sitting by himself. In between these people was a vacant seat. So I kind of ask around, is anyone sitting here? One of the ladies from the group gives me a dirty look, and then the man says, no, the seat's open, whatever. So upon sitting down, I notice the lady that gave me the dirty look is looking at me again, and I can feel her staring at me with a dirty look, obviously to elicit some sort of response. I look at her and I say, hi, how are you? And she kind of gives this fake smile and goes about talking to her friend. So the guy sitting next to me starts to kind of chat me up, and we're just talking about work, life, etc. Nothing really past superficial. Meanwhile, the lady sitting next to me is laughing loudly with her friend. She keeps looking over at me, just making a scene. We're not responding, right? No one is engaging these women. And at one point, they drop something and really make a scene. At this point, several people sitting at the bar look at them for a second. Someone asks if they're okay. Again, I don't engage. So the man I was chatting up for about 20 minutes, I had ordered food, a couple of drinks while sitting, and on his way out, he covered my entire tab. When I tell you the silence that came out of these women once he mentioned he was going to cover my tab was diabolical. They sat in silence. They didn't even talk to each other. They started awkwardly looking at their phone. What you do with jealous people is you do not give them a response. They are under this assumption that if the roles were reversed and I was being that way towards them, they would cower. They would feel insecure. They would feel out of place. Do not allow them to get under your skin. See them for what they are and understand that nobody is acknowledging the behavior. No one really cares. They're just weirdos.
Okay, so a lady came on this app and she said, my BBL stinks, okay? She said my BBL stinks, and I was like, what? And she said, yes, my BBL stinks. It leaks stinky stuff, and my sit-down air is stinky. And I was like, what? And then another girl made a post about it. And she was like, you know that lady who came on here and said her BBL was stinky? Well, the stinkers got offended and reported it and got it taken down. And I was like, what? And then she was like, this woman was just trying to raise awareness. And I was like, yeah. And I opened up the comment section. The first comment I read, the airport in Miami has a fresh BBL smell. Oh!
Fellas, if you looking for a woman that will do what she told and shut up and cooperate and be submissive and cook during the week and make your lunch and work out and don't got no kids, that's me. You don't need to look no further. Okay, I know these women out here got mouths on them. I don't got no mouth on me. I know when to shut up. I know when to listen. Okay, I know when to let a man lead. I know you run the house. I stand next to you. You my king.
I have never agreed with the if he wanted to, he would. Because you want to and you don't. Just because he doesn't do it doesn't mean he doesn't want to do it. And also just because he doesn't do it doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. How about we grow up and we express how we feel loved and communicate with our partner, and maybe that would solve a lot of issues that a lot of relationships face. Your partner cannot read your mind, and what you might want him to do might be different than what he thinks you want him to do if you haven't expressed that to him. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
People wonder why young men gave the middle finger to the left. And I'm thinking, you've spent the last decade trying to program like a robot every single person under the age of 45 to think men evil, eat all men. And now you're surprised that the next group of young men is saying,
Every young group of people throughout history always has one thing in common. They want to rebel against the people who came before them. Throughout the 70s and 80s and 90s, you think of the hippie movement and rock and roll and covering your body in tattoos and sticking it to the man. Now, to be a modern rebel, it's to want to get married. This last year, Bible sales are up 22% in the United States. There are more young people converting to Christianity now than at any other time in modern history. It's up to young people now, because no one else is going to do this, to take back our country and to redefine the American dream.
I'm so tired of this transactional relationship era that we're living in. Every single relationship that we have has to be transactional. Why? Why does it have to be what he's doing for me? What bag he bought me? What trip he took me on? Where we're going? Like, come on now. What happened to genuine love? What happened to genuinely pouring into somebody? What happened to genuinely knowing somebody? We gotta get back to that. We gotta go back to really, really wanting to have genuine and honest and open relationships. I'm so tired of the transactional relationships. Like,
you don't necessarily have to be intelligent or necessarily have to be cooperative. Men would just put up with you because you're beautiful and something to look at. You've been sheltered from having to do the work until you're looking for a husband. And when a husband that's a good husband, he gonna make sure you a good wife. Y'all don't generally never have to do the work, never have to ask the hard questions to yourself, never have to take self-inventory. You could just hop from here to there, because any man will take you when you're in your prime, no matter regardless of what. They'll take you for a while, 3 years, 4 years here, 2 years here. But men, we can't avoid reality. We have to do the work. We have to get our shit together. We have to become intelligent. We have to become fit. We have to become financially stable. We have to become emotionally intelligent. Y'all get sheltered from all that by y'all beauty. But as you get older, you use that beauty and you lose that youth. Now you're faced with reality and you have to ask yourself the hard questions and the tough questions and do the hard work.
Some of these modern women don't be asking questions and they don't care to ask questions. This leaves them.
So there's a lot of women asking, where do you meet these guys that pay the rent in full? Where do you meet these guys that pay the rent in full? You met him. He just doesn't drive a really fancy car. You met him. He just wasn't over 6 foot. You met him. He just wasn't the best dresser. You met him and he may have said something awkward on the first date. Those guys are at work. Those guys will look you dead in your eye and say, yeah, I know you want a 6-bedroom house. I understand that, but for right now, while I'm going through this program in school, we're going to be in this 1-bedroom apartment. Those type of dudes are not going to pay $300 on the first date for a meal. Those type of dudes aren't going to go out here and buy you a purse just because you're cute. These type of guys are going to go on vacation, but baby, there will be some planning involved. And somehow, somewhere, got it twisted that unless a man can be spontaneous and do whatever you want at the drop of a hat, then that means he's not capable of taking care of business. Those type of men take care of business. It's just, they're boring. They're predictable. They're routine. They will not give you any and everything that you want, which a lot of women don't like being told no. They will compromise. But until you become a woman that understands, I want the man that makes sure our home is taken care of first, you're not going to be ready for him. You met him. You just thought he was lame.
Okay, so, hot take. If you have to look your little girl square in the eyeballs and be like, oh, honey, you're wearing leggings or shorts right now, but your uncle, cousin, grandpa, whatever, is on his way over, so you need to go change. I'm sorry. So, if you have to think that the man coming over is going to harm her or think impurely about her because of XYZ in the comfort of her own home, maybe said man shouldn't be coming over. We need to stop teaching these little girls that it is their responsibility if a grown man looks at them inappropriately. It shouldn't be their little responsibility. They're busy being a kid.
No. See, modern women always act like they have a bad understanding of things. Let's take grandpa, nephew, uncle, whoever you want to, family member outside of it. When you teach her how to present herself in a certain way, she's going to present herself in that way in all scenarios. Because she thinks it's wrong? No, because that's how I presented myself in the world. That's not, I don't see nothing wrong with it. That's how I used to always do it. When I see mama dressing like this, I'm just dressing like that because that's what I've seen mama do. That's what I've seen daddy do. So I didn't know that it was a problem. When we move grandpa or whoever else out the way, she goes to college or she's in this party or environment. She's going to be wearing the exact same thing, putting herself in a position for people to look at her in a certain way. She might not be that way, but when you present yourself in certain clothing in certain ways, people are going to think that, oh, no, I don't want to hear that. Because y'all tell men, wear a suit. People will respect you. I love a man in a suit. I love a man when he has this. I love a man when he has that. It has to deal with what he's wearing, right? Obviously, you don't have to wear that around the house. But if a girlfriend comes over, a friend, whoever it is, you're not going to want your man walking around a certain way. I just don't want you. I don't care about her. I just don't want you presenting yourself a certain way when we have company over. Go make yourself more modest. Right? Once again, your company should not be looking at them in a certain way, but also it's on me, my side of the equation, to present myself a certain way. Y'all got to stop giving people passes to do what they're not supposed to be doing. Y'all got to stop training up these young ladies to do the wrong thing. We can sit up here and talk to her blue in the face about stopping a young man from treating a girl a certain way, stopping a man from looking at a girl in a certain way. Young women, middle-aged women, old women, all of them. Don't look at them like that. Don't do them like that. Be respectful to them. Don't put your hands on them. Don't try to take advantage of them. All that. That goes up. No, we're going to say it right now. But also, that doesn't absolve you of accountability in doing what you're supposed to be doing. Y'all got to stop.